Right, welcome back to the Survival Debrief. I'm so happy I've got my Boma mother on here today, Kel. As you all know about me, my name's Stephen Kelly. Just retired after 23 years in Commando forces. I've operated all over the world in deserts, jungles, mountains, and so on and so forth. And I've been lucky enough not to do Naked and Afraid once, but twice. And our amazing guest we've got on today is Kel. How are you, Kel? You're all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm in Mexico and the weather is awesome.
You float between Mexico and Hawaii. What's your favorite place?
Ooh, it's kind of like your favorite foods.
It's hard
You
to
have
pick,
a
is it?
few. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to pick. Well,
I float between the dry seasons and two wet places.
oh, that's a good idea, that.
Yep,
The better weather, we go between the better weather each time.
absolutely.
But the reason why I wanted to get you on, Kelly, obviously I know you. I've spent time with you out there on Naked and Afraid Apocalypse. I wanted to get you on just to have a chat. You've done two challenges now. You're a tough woman. I want to talk about things that we did behind the scenes, what no one ever seen on Naked and Afraid Apocalypse, which you probably don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it. But talking about the challenges, how did this all come about? How did you end up naked on your first challenge?
Well, I ended up in a motel room on Mother's Day after my sister's wedding in Florida, waiting for my flight back to Mexico. And I watched Naked and Afraid, Tough as a Mother marathon. And I thought, well, I can do this. This is my jam. So I commented on a Facebook post that I'd be perfect for it and forgot about it. And then in November of that year, like months later, I got hit up. They called within 2 minutes. They're like, we're just going to put you on to your interviews. And then within a few days, I was on my survival interview with EJ. It was like wham, bam, bam.
That's
All of a
awesome,
sudden, I
man.
was in Africa.
Did you ever think, right, when you were going through your interviews, did you ever think it was real, like you were going to end up being naked in the middle of Africa?
No, just because I'm more in the moment in that sense. And it was just so new. I was kind of like running after this train. I'm like, this is a cool train. I'm going to catch this thing,
Yeah.
but as far as what was on the train, no idea.
Yeah. Now talking about this, right, you got a massive opportunity. You went out there in Africa. What was going on in your mind when on the camera cruise there? And this the first time you've got to strip off naked. What's going through your mind at this point?
Pretty much what I said on camera. This is it.
Yeah. Was you nervous at any point?
Was what?
Was you nervous?
Um, well, yeah, I used the bathroom like three times before
Yeah.
insertion, like before I left the hotel. So I didn't use the bathroom again until I got back to the hotel on day 21.
Yeah.
I was empty and ready. That's how nervous I was. Well, it
Yeah.
rained all night the night before, and all I
Yeah.
could think of was my fire was getting wet. My fire was getting wet. I was losing it.
What was going through your mind when you met your partner, though? When you're fully naked now and you're meeting your partner, what's going on in
I
your
was
head?
like, I was like, oh no, he doesn't look like he's in shape. I mean, I live outdoors. If you live outdoors, your outdoors puts you in shape.
Yeah.
So it made me nervous immediately that he wasn't outdoor friendly as I had hoped.
Yeah. Now, do you still speak to your partner?
No, no, God, we did not resonate in any way. He was
Yeah.
very dry.
He never stayed long, did he? How many days did he do?
He was injured less than 48 hours in. He was
Yeah.
injured the morning of day three, going to get water, and had to stay an extra night just because, we only got that much footage. So, yeah, but it was half the episode, his time
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I always remember
Good
though,
times.
I always remember you being on your own quite a bit and you resonated with the plants, the insects, I remember you stroking a centipede. Was it a centipede or a millipede?
It was a really giant millipede.
Weren't you scared it was
Millipede,
gonna
yeah.
bite you? Weren't you scared it was gonna give you the
No,
bite?
no, not millipedes. They don't bite. I just, I had a lonely childhood and I made friends with bugs.
Yeah,
And yeah, still do. I'm surrounded by bugs and birds, and I don't know. I figure we're all here, and everybody's got to go at life, and I might as well just be saying hey to my neighbors.
yeah. I'm talking about your first challenge, Kel, in Africa. What was the moment? What stand out for you? What didn't make it? What you wished he showed?
My worst moment of the challenge, and possibly one of the worst nights of my life, did not make it, much to my dismay. And my food, my fish catch, that was the coolest thing I had ever done.
Yeah.
Like in the moment, on running on fumes, was that the way I caught fish. And so, yeah, those two things. I had hypothermia pretty much. Like I couldn't feel my legs from like the knee down. I had to drag myself to the fire. Like it was a really bad fifth night. It was so bad. I couldn't even go away from the fire to pee without going into convulsions. I
Yeah.
didn't have them check my temperature for about 10 hours. And at that point, it was still in the 95 range. And at that point, only half my feet were still cold and I couldn't feel them, but my legs had warmed up. So I know I was really, really bad, but I wasn't going to go out for that. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just didn't talk to anybody and rocked and kind of laid on the fire for a
yeah.
couple days.
Do you
Good
know
fun.
what's sad when you watch Naked and Afraid? Because you do so much. And I remember Sunny, my partner, she had these spiders when we were in Colombia. And it was the funniest thing ever. I couldn't stop laughing. And I thought they'd showed that. It was a good little moment to me and my partner coming together. And she had these horrible spiders while I was eating the lovely crickets. And then I said a comment to her going, they're going to be poisonous then. You're probably going to die. And her face just dropped. And I was trying to be serious. Then she started chewing on charcoal and trying to make
Oh
herself sick
no.
and all that type of stuff. And that never aids. But what the fans don't realise, they can't show everything. You're there for 21 days, 24 hours a day, and you can only show 40 minutes. If you're lucky, you might get a 2 hour episode. But they can't show everything, and it is quite hard, isn't it? Because you know what you've done on your challenge. I know what I did with my partner on my challenge, and you wish they showed everything on the screen, but they're not allowed to, or they ain't got the time to, they ain't got the money or the budget for Discovery Channel too. But here's another one for you, anyway, Kel. What was the scariest point on your first challenge? You're in the middle of Africa now. Your partner dropped out on day 3, day 4. You're alone for a long, long
Mm-hmm.
time. What's going through your head with all these noises, lions, hyenas? What's going on in your head? And is there any scary moments, any potential attacks?
I mean, I listened to hippos and the wild pigs, like literally 20 feet from my head all night long. The wild pig snorting was like a metronome. The hippos were all around. The elephants, we had like 150 elephants, and I was on a high spot by the river, but there was two slides on either side for the Nile crocs, the hippos, the elephants, and I tell people I don't get scared. Like a week into the challenge, my producer's like, Kel, the show's called Naked and Afraid. I'm like, I know, I just get really alert. And so I just didn't sleep for 3 weeks and I stayed really alert. So the only time I really got scared was like, it was the last day, it was day 20, and we were getting charged by this huge elephant.
Wow.
And, Fran like gets in front of me, the cameraman, and I'm like, dude, he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm trying to run, dude, get out of my way. And he's just trying to get footage. But that was literally, that was my max point. And they use the footage. You see that. That's when this
Yeah.
elephant at the end goes off and he's snorting across the river. He literally ran across the Limpopo River and like was pissed and breaking branches because the rangers chased him off. But that was about as runny as I got.
That's pretty scary. That the scary moment which shows on our episode as well was when the puma came into our shelter. That was a scary moment for me.
Mm.
I remember lying there next to Sonny and you could smell like a wet dog. And we're talking to each other saying, "Can you smell that musk?" Then the next minute, the side of my shelter started caving in the side of my face, and I could hear him. Yeah,
He's smelling you.
yeah, and there's me freaking
Dinner
out,
friendly.
banging the shelter, and then obviously the animal scarper, but that was scary anyway. But doing your challenge though, don't get me wrong, you've done a tough challenge, and you've done like 15, 16 days on your own, on your
17, 18.
17, well, I'm getting the days wrong here, 17, 18 days on
Mm.
your own. When you complete that challenge, what are you thinking?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
I did it. Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't surprised. I wasn't, I didn't have any reason to leave. I didn't have a partner bothering me. I didn't, I wasn't completely dead. And there was a lot of people depending on, me being the star of the show so they could
yeah.
make their money. So I was so proud that I did it and I finished it. And yeah, it was
And it
very
was
accomplishing.
And it was a really good episode, and I remember it when you finished yours. And like I keep saying, you spent a long time on your own, and I think that's what I'd struggle with being alone because I like talking to people, I like chatting, I like to have a bit of banter. As you know, we've lived together out there. I like to have a
Hmm.
little joke and all that type of stuff. So honestly, kudos to you for smashing that many days on your own because not many survivalists have done that, and you've took on that many days on your own. But what was it like getting a phone call or an email back to come back again and take on the new challenge, Naked and Afraid Apocalypse? What are you thinking now?
Well, I first got hit up for castaways after I'd been poking production for a no tools challenge, which by the way, I still want a no tools challenge where I have access to tide rack in the jungle. I'd literally lose my mind on the edge of the jungle. Um, yeah, and then they hit me up for XL for Colombia. Didn't make that one either.
Yeah.
And so then by the time apocalypse happened, I was definitely ready. I was like, you guys, I'm almost 50. Come
Yeah.
on. So I was very excited naturally, and then of course got postponed months, and so I just stayed in training mode, very positive mentally, very happy, very excited to go and get to do something fun. And so I
Yeah.
thought,
Yeah, yeah. It's funny though, people don't know that it actually got postponed and it was meant to be like in the July and then it ended up being in the October.
hmm
And honestly, that was the worst thing that happened to me because I just got fatter and fatter. And I thought, right, I can't lose all my weight and go back to training now being a fit commando. I need to keep
but you
eating.
did so good. That's
I
what
know
kept
it.
you in there.
I put enough weight on there and I put 40 pounds on and I lost 40 pounds. So I went back to my normal weight when I finished. And I
Perfect.
felt, obviously I'm healthy now, I'm at a good weight, but I got fat to go on that challenge. But yeah, for the viewers watching this, it actually got postponed for a few months due to strikes or whatever within the TV industry. And I was eating blocks of cheese in bed to put on that weight. How did you prepare for that challenge?
I went back out to my camp in Kipahulu and I just started hiking up to my pools every day. And I just bought a bunch of meat and then bought a bunch of local meat from the hunters. And I just started eating a bunch more than I normally would and bumped up all my supplements and just kept really active. I mean, I live barefoot out there. I was cooking on a
Yeah,
fire all the time. I'm always naked all the time too. I'm just in
yeah,
a really perfect environment for all of those things. So I'm not far removed from the challenge. You just remove a lot of resource
yeah,
and
yeah.
then that becomes naked and afraid compared to my normal life. So that's what I did. I just went out there
And I'm
and
gonna
put on
say
weight.
something. I'm gonna say something now. Your feet are proper tough as fuck. You have got strong feet. You see, when I was like out there when we were together, and I've got baby feet.
You do.
I'm like hopping around, and your
I was
feet.
surprised. You could
Yeah,
literally poke a thorn right through there and it would go
yeah.
all the way to bone. There's like nothing in between this
They're just soft.
pobre little outside skin
Yeah, they're
and
just soft and
your meat.
pathetic. They're just the pathetic feet because I'm always wearing boots and my feet are sweating constantly. But talking about the Apocalypse Challenge, like I was so excited to get the opportunity to go back up there. I had a great team before you merged with me, and you were a great team as well. I loved actually working out there with you, and that's why I call you my Bowman mother. But when you got out there and you got with your team, what were you think your initial thoughts of your team members?
Initially I was really positive about everything. Yeah, it just didn't work out. Um,
I think it was just
yeah.
a clash of personalities, really. Because I get on with Joe, but you and Joe just didn't have that clash of personalities. But what I liked about you had a good bond with Amber, a really good tight bond with Amber. But I noticed, I don't know if you can tell us more about that bond, because you only see snippets of it. But I remember when you merged with us and the way you were together, it looked like you were like that together for a few days.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I haven't, watched past the first episode. But yeah, I had no problem with Amber. She was very positive, and we're both females. We're the only two females, on a team together. This is really cool, and yeah, she was a great partner. I have no complaints about Amber
Yeah.
at all. And
What?
Joe, I just think he just wasn't a team player for that. Like
Yeah.
he wouldn't look me in the eye since day one. And this is a team challenge, a survival challenge. You got to bond with your buddies no matter
Yeah.
what. And he wasn't willing to do that from the first minute on the challenge. And I've never experienced that. I thought, that's how we're gonna make it
Yeah.
is. And so I'm a little confused.
Yeah. Do you know what? It is what happens, and this is what this show's all about. They're going to put different
Mm.
personalities with different people and see what happens, and that's what it's all about. And what we do, we pull up our trousers and we move on from it. But I think you were amazing from the start to the finish, and I'm surprised you haven't watched any more episodes from episode one because you were absolute. I loved you being with me and me, Wes and Miranda. Um, what was your thoughts? Do you know when you moved on, when you came to decide to move from your location? What was going through your mind at that point, knowing you're going to do this hard hike? What's going through your mind?
It's just like in life when you have two directions and one shuts off. You're like, well, this is where we're going. And
Yeah,
that's what happened. Like I wasn't, able to stay in that camp in that situation anymore. I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and I was being triggered by having that energy around me. I literally I couldn't handle.
yeah.
It was too. Yeah. I had a trauma response in there, and yeah. And then plus, our beloved Sarah had passed away just like
Yeah,
5 days prior, and I was already cracked open from that. So it became a very different challenge than I had anticipated.
yeah. But obviously, initially, you've been to Africa before. Did you feel positive about the challenge because it was the same sort of location?
I was very positive about the challenge. In my mind, there's no way to address a naked and afraid challenge, which is going to be one of the hardest things you ever attempt or complete, without having a really strong, positive, confident mindset. And that's all I've been working on.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I thought everybody was a team player.
yeah. No, you are a team player. So this is what I wanted to talk about. The moment when you merged with us, and I want to say this publicly on here, I had a good night's sleep. I could sleep through anything. Not once I put one bit of wood on the fire. Genuine team, who's ever watching this now, I'd sleep, wake up in the morning, the fire was blazing because Kel would have that fire burning every night, and I'd wake up and I'm like, oh my God, the fire's still going, and you were there poking it, always getting the firewood. And that's the survival stuff what people don't get to see. You know what the naked the face like they want to show the big wins, the big kills, the hunting, but that's an add-on. Proper survival is your fire, your water, your shelter,
Hmm.
then foraging, and every day, Cal. And you know this because I was there in the shelter. I'd wake up every morning. I'd have the best night's sleep. Didn't even know. Wake up and at 8 hours, you've been up all night, stoking that fire. Never even woke me up. I'd wake up and
No,
I'd feel really bad going, why
I
isn't
was
he
so
waking me
proud.
up?
You
Yeah,
slept like 12 hours. I was able to keep you asleep. You guys
yeah,
didn't have to do anything. You could do your
yeah,
hunting. You could go keep running for Wiggly Tin,
yeah,
and I could afford you that. I felt so blessed.
yeah. And that's I wanted to talk about that here because you don't get to see. People think it's the boring stuff for survival. That's proper survival. You ain't got a fire going. You're not going to keep the lions away, the hyenas, the elephants, the rhinos, the hippos. You ain't got a good fire going. You're not going to be able to boil your food. I was waking up every morning to fresh water, but already been boiled for me, and I'd be warm. I'd be like,
Mm.
"Ah, wow, I've just had 12 hours sleep. What's going on here? What's going on here?" So I wanted to publicly say thank you, Kel, when you were there with me, keeping me warm every night. Much appreciated for that. But talking
You're
about
welcome.
challenges, what was your favourite part when you come and merge with me, Wes and Miranda?
Getting to see you guys was great. You're one of my favorites. I've been following
Mm,
you for God since the beginning, of my Naked and Afraid when I ended up
mm.
on the online, survival world. So I was elated, because meetups are my favorite part of Naked and Afraid.
Yeah,
Meetups and big food scores, and I was on cloud nine just to get to see happy people, people that at least appeared happy to see me. It was,
yeah,
I needed a change. I needed a really bad change at that point. I needed some uplift, and yeah, that was it. The meetup was awesome.
yeah. I was buzzing. I was buzzing that you actually came out and got to stay with us, and I got to spend some time with you, which was absolutely spot on. 'Cause like we've always been connected across social media and all that. So
Hmm.
it was really good. And you are a really knowledgeable and tough woman. But talking about these challenges, what was harder, your first one or Apocalypse, and why?
Um, hmm. On the first one, I didn't know what was going on. It was completely unknown. There was just a lot of things that is kind of like getting a minute to talk to you before we do this interview. I
Yeah,
barely got that before that, and then you're on camera for 3 weeks. So any question you even ask, even if it's a personal one and you don't want to ask it, could have been informed beforehand. You don't have a playground for it.
yeah,
So yeah, that being unknown was really rough on that note. Probably just the hypothermia and the cold and the not knowing, that was rough. And I'd really hoped for a good partner for my first one.
yeah,
And I lost about a pound a day on the first challenge. So on Apocalypse, what really tanked me above everything else was the lack of salts. Like the heat was so insane. There was no way to get away from it. So we're drinking hot, water. We're trying to get as much hot water as possible because
yeah,
you have to be able to drink it so you can refill it so you can get locked in time, for night. And so I just really hit a wall physically that I've never experienced in my life. Like I ended up losing a kilo a day. Like
yeah,
I do fast. I do long-term fast. I do all kinds of fast. There is no way in my entire life been able to lose even half that a day. So and then after I got out and I left, I literally needed help walking for 2 days if I was going up or
wow,
downstairs. I was walking like I had come out of surgery. It felt like I was heel toeing it everywhere. I was slurring, like it had been bad.
yeah.
I was worse than I expected to be.
Apocalypse, the heat was horrendous, and you can't really explain it to the viewers when they're not there. And the heat, like I get sunburned, but I get sunburned. The sun doesn't like me. I've got pale white skin, and I'll do anything to get in the shade. And that's what took me off guard: the heat, the sun, and the thorns walking. But the heat,
Mm,
and I remember looking at you, Miranda, and Miranda was wasting away like that. And I remember when you merged with us. You were, and I was looking at you. I remember looking at your back when you were lying down trying to have a little sleep, and I could see your weight loss daily going like so quick.
yep.
Your body was just, and you were still getting up, grafting, getting the firewood, letting me have a good night's sleep. You would have a little nap in the day, but you were like, honestly, and I could see it in your body going like that, and
It was wild.
yeah, it
I've
made me
I've never
start
seen
seeing it.
anything like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've never experienced that in my life. Like I literally I don't know what they showed since I haven't watched it, but when my leg stopped working and I literally had to lay down on your bed and like
yeah,
my whole foot curved in towards the back, and then after that I was having like liver cramps and I was like I've never experienced anything like this, and you know, I was already missing words and sentences, which is not me.
yeah, yeah. Talking about that point, when you left, do you ever have any good regrets of leaving?
I don't do regret.
Hmm.
I just decided in my life that I trust the perfection in the moment. So if we're
Yeah.
here, then it's perfect. Even if it appears to be a tragedy, like my first husband dying, everybody called it a tragedy, and it disturbed me. It's beautiful. It's a transition. So I just decided that if it makes it to the moment, it's beautiful, and try to see
Mm.
it that way. And so in that, how can I regret something if that has brought me to this moment? So in that, I appreciate it. And I know a lot of people do guilt and regret. And, we all get our hand that we're dealt
Yeah.
in life. And for some reason, I don't have that one. It's
Yeah.
one of my freedoms. I feel very blessed that I've embodied. So
That,
no,
that's a
I'm
good
great.
strength.
I'm great with my decision. There was no way around it. It was my time to go. And I knew it in that moment. And as much as I wanted to complete a challenge, that wasn't the one. And I'm
Yeah.
fine with that.
I think, me personally, if I came to tap, I think my self-induced pressure had eat me up. It'd eat me up of it due to my
Mm,
career in the military. And if I had to tap out, I think like that you've got a good skill that it is what it is. You've done it. Let's
yeah.
let's get let's get back on the horse and we go again. Where I think if I had to tap, I think I'd have to I'd proper self-induced pressure on myself. I'd eat myself away
and
and hate
and I
myself.
totally hear that.
Yeah.
It was a combination because I have that same mentality. In my first challenge, I didn't tap because I wasn't affecting anybody negatively on my team. I wasn't a burden on anybody because there was nobody there. The only people that I would weigh on was the people if I did tap. It
Yeah.
would be the whole production team would lose work. So for me, that was the equation. In our situation, I know Wes had brought it up to me that I probably should leave and not be a burden, which was heartbreaking to me. And that was definitely a big pressure on it. If it had been you and I would have
Yeah.
laid there and let you drag me around like a dead domino, 100%, ride or die. But there's no way I'm going to
Yeah.
be a burden on anybody. And that was definitely part of it. And I also didn't ever want to see Joe again on the challenge. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of things. It just all was like, nope, this is not meant to be for me. And I can see it right now.
I remember
So
you saying that to me that you didn't want to be a bird, and I was heartbroken because I was having good night's sleep. So you were definitely not a burden for me. You were looking after me.
I
That's why
know
you
I
made me
love
go more.
fire.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. I love tending fire. It's an art for me. It makes me feel so good just to make everything burn as efficiently as
Yeah,
possible. And oh, it's my dream. It's my dream job.
yeah,
And that's the thing on the challenge, like you were saying, a lot of people are hunters and have their specific jobs. And I remember in interviews that probably weren't aired, they kept asking, especially in my first team, what was my angle on it? And I'm like, I'm just here to make the machine go to the end. I
yeah,
just want to facilitate everybody making it because they're like doing their buddy thing and they're doing this and that and yet. And I'm like, how many chores I can do on the outside of this situation? Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm seeing all the loopholes and I'm going to fill them so the boat can go down the stream. That's my mission. It's not a high paying position and it's not a glamorous one, but it's the one that moms do, and that's the one that I know how to do best. So
and it's a necessary job as well. All them little
it is.
jobs what doesn't really get shown, and that's the only thing what frustrates me about Naked Afraid because they love showing
Right.
the hunting with the bow and arrow, and that's just a small fraction of it. That's a small fraction, but for that person to go hunting with a bow and arrow, he needs to have fresh water, he needs to have a good night's sleep, he needs to have
Mm-hmm.
foraged food, he needs to have wood collected, so we can go and have the energy to do that. And people only ever see the kill with the bow and arrow and the superstar, and that's it's to get to
Yeah.
that point. He's got to have a team or a network of people behind him helping it, and that's exactly what you provide when we're out there, and that's what I wanted to talk about on this live today
Mm.
because people don't see stuff like that on these challenges, and I wanted to let you know that I still don't forget that you kept that fire burning for me when it was cold at night. Now, talking about the challenges as well, if you get a phone call tomorrow, Kel, to go
Hmm.
again, would you go again?
Sure. I'm almost out of time on my age limit here. So, but yeah,
What,
I probably
what
won't prep as much and that I did last time. You learn a lot with each challenge. This time I'm like, just take me now, I'll just go as I am. We'll see how it works
yeah,
out. Please don't put me with anybody that's going to be mean because I've met a lot of you guys and have so much fun. You can have so much fun on there and it could
yeah,
just be an amazing experience, which is what I had hoped and heard about people having just the greatest times. And,
yeah.
I enjoyed hanging out with you guys and
Oh, that's absolutely amazing. Now, what's your age
yeah.
limit, Kel? So the producers and that are watching now, what's your age limit?
I know. I wrote Sean, unfortunately, Sean Foley. He's the one
Oh,
that knew. I know. I had talked, yeah, I said I'll be around till I'm 52, and so I'll be available till then. And I turned 50 at the end of February, so
yeah.
I'm almost. I got a couple more years, and that's it for me.
Right, producers listening now, if you're watching, we've got 2 years to get our Kel back out there, and I'd love to get back out there with it as well. So if you need a partner, Kel, I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm
Dude,
ready to
no
go
tools.
tomorrow.
Let's do a no
No,
tools challenge with Tide Rack.
yeah, I'll do all the lifting and carrying, and you've got all the skills to forage and keep me alive. So I'm well up
I
for that.
love it. I love it. I would have so much fun. I literally was planning on how to do like the Ed Stafford,
Yeah,
original. And I was like, no, I could just go onto an island. I'll film myself. I'm like, that would be boring. I should bring my kids. And then I'm
yeah,
like, oh, that would be really fun. Why don't we have a bunch of other families with their kids that grew up outdoors? And we'll all have like a build off on some like islands out in the Pacific. I started going wild with it. But yeah, I would kill for anything on an island like that. Oh my goodness. It's so much fun. I have the Swiss Family Robinson dream like everyone else.
Yes, I absolutely love it. And do you know what, Kel? I hope you do get another opportunity to go out there because you're an absolute pleasure. And I love the fact that I got to meet you out there. Now, if people are watching this now, some fans, where could people follow you if they want to follow your journey? Where are all your social media platforms?
Yeah, I'm nomadic coconut, shared C in the middle on Instagram. It's kind of like my handle everywhere except for Facebook. My accounts are private now because Apocalypse wasn't as fun as I hoped. So you just gotta ask. um, yeah, I'm on YouTube, but I don't post much on there. It's kind of got old stuff and interesting things. I think it's all the same, nomadic coconut, one way or another.
Yeah. Right. So if you're watching this now and you want to see Kel and what she's up to and you want to reach out to her, get some advice, make sure you go and give her a follow. And I've got one more question for you, Kel, before we finish. We're nearly wrapped up now. I told you these are quick, 20, 30 minutes max. We fly through
Totally.
these. What are your top tips for someone who wants to get out into the great outdoors and just enjoy nature? You're you're a really experienced outdoors woman. All right, you're an experienced survivalist. Someone new to this and wants to get into the great outdoors. Three top tips.
Go camping where they don't have electricity.
Mm,
Don't camp in a trailer or an RV, camp in a tent, camp near water, and stay for at least 4 days. That should get you started.
yeah.
Right there, you'll fall in love.
Look at
Bring a
that.
fishing pole if you like to fish.
Look at that. Nice and simple. So if you're not interested in getting outdoors, just go basic, take a tent out, test
Basic
yourself,
tenting.
and that's it, yeah. And if you want to take a fishing pole and a little chair, get a bit cozy, you can do that as well.
Mm.
But
Make a relationship with fire.
and maybe a few insects as well. We always see Kel stroking the animals and looking after all the
Yeah.
animals, and she so maybe
I
that.
love my friends.
Yeah, yeah. But Kel, I want to say honestly, thank you very much for jumping on this podcast today. I was going to wrap up now anyway, but honestly,
Yeah.
it's been an absolute pleasure having you on here and seeing you again, which has been great. For all the viewers, like I always say, I would love it if you come and like, comment, subscribe, and share this podcast. And make sure you all go and check out Kel and say hello to her and give her a follow as well. But Kel, thank you very much. Any final words?
Um, just get outdoors. Once you're outdoors, you'll learn to appreciate it. Once you appreciate it, you'll get out there more, and then you'll be worried about saving it. And
Come
that's
on.
how we take care of the earth.
And that's what it's all about. Thank you very much, everyone. Much appreciated.